reaction
Now,
type today,
we
and
will
this one
show you
here
a
is
video
called thermal
experiment of
decomposition.
reaction.
We are decomposing a substance, which implies that the starting reactant is a relatively large material, so it's made of many different atoms, or even could be the same type of atom, just built multiple of them connected together with chemical bonds. And we are going to decompose it, which means to disassemble it into simpler or even smaller parts. And thermal, meaning temperature, so it requires a bit of heat for this to occur. Some things will actually decompose just at ordinary temperature. For example, hydrogen peroxide, so some of the stuff that you might keep in the first aid kit at home. You might use it to sort of disinfect open wounds, for example. That one there decomposes naturally under sunlight or even just ordinary temperatures, and so you need to have a fresh amount of that every so often. So some things decompose normally. This one here, we've got a starting substance called copper carbonate. That gives it this beautiful green color. It also seems to be mixed with a little bit of perhaps a hydrated part of its compound here. So we've got also mixed with a little bit of copper hydroxide. Let's just call it copper carbonate for now. And I've already added some to the test tube here, and we're going to heat it up, and we should start to see a chemical reaction occurring. So rather than just sitting there just going, oh wow, pretty colors, I want you to keep your eyes open for the main types of indications of a chemical change occurring. So we've got, do we see a color change? Do we see a gas being formed? Do we see a temperature change? Well, obviously, I'm not going to be testing it with my fingertips to see if it's changing temperature. Is it producing light? Is it producing heat? Is it those sorts of chemical indications gives you clues, and I think you'll see some very obvious ones here in this experiment here. So you might be asking yourself, what's this whole setup down here? Well, this thing here should decompose. We start off with some copper atoms, some carbon atoms, and some oxygen atoms. Now, if it disassembles into smaller things, well, what things could you build out of that? So we're probably going to make carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide or something like that as a byproduct. So we can test to see if we are producing carbon dioxide gas. One method would be to simply just put a live match. Okay, so I could light a flame on this side, and as we produce gas, it'll extinguish that flame. However, there are some other gases out there that can do the same thing. So what could be another test to give us some confirmation that we are producing carbon dioxide? Well, carbon dioxide reacts with lime water, also known as calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide and carbon dioxide gas will react to form calcium carbonate down over here, which is a white powder. So if we produce that carbon dioxide gas, it'll
created using Powtoon.